week as an administrator. But I realize that probably just isn't going to happen. You know, we currently go in and we often see there is not an administrator available, and we have a question that needs to be addressed by administration, and there's no one there to address it. If we had someone there 5 days out of the week, instead of 4 days, we would have that availability, not just as officers, but as you, the citizens of this community, to come in and address those matters with your sheriff's office and with your sheriff, with the administration staff of the sheriff. As far as the flex time is concerned, you know, the flex time, we're having an issue there. And I don't currently agree with the flex time. It can work great, but who's going to account for it? Who's going to keep track of it? You know, sooner or later, the citizens of this county are the ones losing out because the person, it didn't mark down on their time slip that they were gone for that extra hour or that extra 2, or well, we'll just make it up on the next time. And the next thing you know, that just never gets made up. And the bottom line is they're still getting paid a salary for X number of hours worked, and you're losing out on the money that you're expecting to pay their paycheck. So that, as administration, has to change from what it currently is. It needs to go to, if you will, the 5 and 2, 20/80 schedule, so everyone has that availability, and then we don't have to worry about the flex time issue. We can go back to keeping track of things as comp time at the very most, and it'll only depend on the certain position within the staffing, because of course the sheriff doesn't get any of that and shouldn't get any of that. You know, there are times when you're going to be working out there as an administrator on another event, and to keep the budget low, you're going to have them come in and maybe only put in a half a day. But that's on a rare occasion, and those instances can be kept track of.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a couple brief points of clarification. Your current sheriff and his administrative staff do work a 4-day work week. They work 4 10s, so they stagger who's off. Some are off on Monday and some are off on Friday. As sheriff, myself and my administrative staff will work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, just like the rest of you in this room do. I feel very strongly that the citizens and the employees of the organization need to have access to the administrative team during normal business hours, Monday through Friday. So I make that promise and I make that vow. The flex time answer. For those of you that don't understand, flex time is kind of a weird concept, pretty simple. And as I understand it, currently is even being used in the deputy schedule. So flex time means if you come in for something on your scheduled time off, for let's say you get you attend a school, for example, and it's on your day off and you spend 8 hours there, then you're required to take that 8 hours off, hour for hour, not time and a half, in your next scheduled work week. I'm not a big fan of flex time. It's slightly different, I think, when it applies to administrative staff. If you're out all night and you need to sleep in for a few hours, so that's a little different. But as far as all the employees of the organization go, first, you know, if somebody has to do something on their day off, Fair Labor Standards Act says if you're called in on your day off, you're going to get time and a half, and I'm a proponent of that. Comp time and a half is fine. I know there's an issue oftentimes administratively with comp time. They say that's an unfunded liability. There's all these comp hours hanging out there if someone quits, but I'm more a fan of time and a half comp time. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. It can be, those people can schedule that time off at their convenience, and I'm not a big fan of flex time.
What would be your top 3 priorities if elected sheriff regarding the overall departments?
Wow, that's a broad question. Top 3 priorities. I think my first priority, right off the bat, in light of what I think has been going on there right now, is to make sure that all the employees know what the rules are. And I think that would entail me as an administrator, as the leader of the organization, reviewing the policy and procedures that exist there, and I would like to have that done before taking office and coming up with that and making sure everyone knows the rules, first of all. Here they are, guys, make sure you know them. Second of all, I think that in order to restore the employee confidence in the administration and the organization, they need to have assurances and need to know that those rules are going to be evenly enforced, and they're going to be enforced fairly. So I think that's very important. Is that 3 or 2? That's a couple. I think the other thing is to just make sure that everyone is on board, or at least knows not just what the rules are, but what the mission of our organization is and what direction we expect the organization to go. And make sure everybody's on board with that. That as a team, here's where we're going, guys. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we look at seeing happen in the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So everyone at least has a clear vision of what's going to happen, and everybody knows, and everybody has a chance to get on board with that.
Thank you. And it is a broad question. I guess first thing is I would call an all-hands meeting of all departments, and where everyone has an opportunity, and I would invite them to, one, be recorded by the association so that you would have an accurate record of what I would say. My mission is to restore leadership, integrity, and accountability. That has to be made clear to every department within the office. Has to. And it has to be explained that the administration is going to set the tone for that. And we would expect that your help. This is an office made up of everybody. And it's going to be important, but we're going to set the tone. We expect you to follow it. And here's the way it's going to work, folks. We're going to come into our office and we're not going to sit and dwell about what's been going on or what has taken place. It's a restoration, meaning you take what's given with you and you fix it and you make it better. You don't go backwards, you move forwards, proactive. And we need to reinforce that throughout the office before we can bring it out into the community. Otherwise, we're simply, it's an empty promise. And that open door policy of keeping that, the availability of us as administration, available to you as the employees, to in every department at any given time. And if nothing else, you know what? If you need to talk to me and you're not able to leave where you're at, I'll be happy to come over. I'll be happy to come over to the jail. I'll be happy to come over to the juvenile detention facility. Wherever you need to chat with me, I can do that. I got legs I can move. Besides that, I need the exercise.
Thanks, guys. I think at this time we'll take a brief intermission. Probably, I don't know, 15 minutes, something like that. Give us a chance to get in, get out, stretch our legs a little bit. Tom and Nick, if you have a pressing question you want to address, Tom, would you hold your hand up? See Tom for a card, and he'll get the questions up here, and we'll try